Hey everybody, welcome to another tabletop talk. It's not so much a review as it is just something I want to get off my chest that happened to me. I just kind of want to talk about it. And with the whole isolation thing, don't really have an opportunity to tell very many people about this. So just recently, a friend of mine who knows that I'm into multi-tools pretty heavily. He knows that I collect them. He knows that I have a whole bunch of them. And he was going to go ride his ATV, and he said, I can't find my multi-tool. Can I borrow one of yours until, until I get back, and I'll give it back to you? And I was like, yeah, well, that doesn't seem like a big deal. If something happens, he breaks down, he probably could use a multi-tool while he was out there. So I got to thinking, well, should I let him use the Ozark Trail Multi-Force? That's pretty easy to replace, and expensive. But then I got to thinking, well, I've seen those going on eBay recently for, much higher than their asking price lately. And I don't know if they're becoming more rare, or I also think it's a possibility that, Walmart could get sued, or Ozark Trail, whoever makes that thing, could get sued by Leatherman. I don't know the legal ramifications for that design being so close to the Leatherman Wave. So I'm trying to anticipate that, where in the past I didn't see that coming, and I missed out. So I got to thinking, well, the Super Tool is a Super Tool 300, very capable tool. Easy to get still. They still make it. If something were to happen to it, it got lost or whatever, it would be super easy to replace. And so that's the one I chose. The deal is I said to him, if anything happens to the tool, you just have to replace it. They still make it. You would just have to buy me a new one. He gives it back to me after a long period of time where there was a whole bunch of, I'll bring it to you the next day. I'll bring it to you the next day. And this went on for about a month, until finally I got it back, and I got it back. And this is the condition that I got it in. And I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if you guys can pick up on it. See, all of this right here is bad. It's really bad. It's on both sides. The damage is on both sides of the tool. And then on this side, this is these are almost worn flat. I mean, there's not much left here. I mean, they're pretty worn. Really deep gouges here. This tool was pristine, by the way, when I gave it to him, like, most of my tools are. This was part of my collection, part of my Super Tool saga, that I've collected. And I'm real upset. As far as the tools go, it came back with the tools were had some sort of sticky substance on the tools, to where the tools were really hard to get out of the tool. I don't know if he spilled Coke, pop or something, soda got spilled on it, and he just let it dry in the sun, and it gummed up all of the tools, which now I have, working again just fine. It doesn't look like, he used it. But what he told me he did is he put this into his toolbox on his ATV, and he just let it fly around, which is weird because I gave him the case. I gave him the sheath when I gave this to him to use. So why he would take it out of the sheath and just throw it into a toolbox. So basically it's been worn like you threw it into a rock polisher, is kind of what the deal is. Now, all of this is cosmetic. This tool still functions, 100%. There's nothing wrong with it as far as the way it functions. It functions perfectly fine, as good as it ever did, maybe better now that I've, torn it apart and cleaned, cleaned everything, and now it's probably better than it was new. It's, adjusted perfectly, and the whole 9 yards. There's nothing mechanically wrong with it. However, he jacked it the F up, and that kind of bothers me. And his response to that is, hey, if I borrowed a hammer, would you be complaining that I scratched your hammer? And I go, well, that depends, dude. If I collected hammers, then yes, I would be upset that you scratched my hammer if I collected hammers. So that's my response to people that say that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm just kind of curious as to what you guys think. Just so you know up front, I was pissed off about this. I flipped out like I'm known to do. And it turned out to be a huge ordeal. I'm not sure that, what our friendship's going to be like in the future, and, but whatever. But the thing is I want this tool replaced. This is how I feel about it. This is not okay to treat, something you borrowed from somebody like this, in my personal opinion. Curious as to what you people think. If you're into multi-tools like I am, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you're into video or into multi-tools like I am. And I'm curious, am I crazy here? Should I be upset about this? Maybe I'm just being, I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty upset about it. So I don't know. I'm just curious what others think about this situation. You loan something to a friend, and is it crazy for me to expect it to come back exactly as I gave it to him? I don't think so. If I borrowed something from somebody, they would get it back exactly like I borrowed it or better. And I wouldn't have given this back to somebody if I borrowed it. I would have automatically replaced it with a new one. As soon as I saw this, I would have immediately replaced this. No questions asked. There's no doubt in my mind that that's exactly what I would have done. So, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. I'm curious. I'll catch you on the next one, guys. On that end.